You're telling me after this year he's getting paid $2.7 million and he's going to be a 50-goal guy? Are you kidding me? Trust me, judging by how Felix Puck smells, you know Detroit already messed up with that pick. We're not going to rub it in their face anymore. TRADES, trades. What's going on, and welcome back to your Seattle Storm Bears franchise mode. And if you haven't heard already, this episode is going to be involving some trades. Now, I took a few days because I wanted to make this right, and this is going to, I'm not going to say it's going to be the last, but it's going to be one of the last more active trade deadlines that we have. I'm going all in right now. I'm going all in. I'm throwing all my eggs in one basket. I'm throwing all my lines in the water. Every other analogy you could ever use. I want that 5th Stanley Cup ring. I need the thumb ring. And this year is a little bit weird because on paper we look sick. We look absolutely nasty on paper. But I mean, as our record shows, 31, 22, and 10. There's some work to do. I made a couple of calls, and the first call I made was to Colorado. I called up Burnaby Joe. I said, hey, Joe, you know, I'm a local guy as well. We're both from BC. Let's talk. Let's make a deal. So we have a temporary deal in place. Then I called up my buddy Jim. At this time in the franchise mode, he might be dead. He's almost 80 years old in this franchise mode, but I called up Jim Rutherford from Pittsburgh, and I said, hey, how you doing, Jim? I know you can barely hear me because you're almost 90 years old. Let's make a deal. So the deal fell through. It was to bring Braden Point to the Seattle Storm Bears. Now, Braden Point made a lot of sense. He was a scoring center, which we need. He's got 18 goals. He's got 48 helpers. He's having a great year. 66 points in 63 games. That's awesome. My plan was to have him for the second line center, or maybe even the first line center. A lot of people are saying put Poehling on the second line and get a bona fide first line center, even though they're playing so well together. And the deal was to send Cowan and Morrow his way. That's a lot of trade value, and we're going to get a first, a second, a low elite, and a goalie. But last minute, the trade, it didn't fall through. It still might happen, but there was something else that came up. Talk Native to me. I had to actually double check to see if that's your name. He has this blockbuster comment, so I'm going to go over it here. Blockbuster trade for Jack Hughes. Storm Bears get Jack Hughes, Yona Gadjevich, a first rounder, a second rounder, or a prospect in exchange for Marcus Forsberg, franchise or elite goalie. And here's his reasoning behind this trade. It very well could be an overpayment for Hughes, but make the necessary adjustments. Agency hasn't been that crazy 60-plus goal guy since he lost a proper first-line center. Poehling is good, but realistically he's a second-line center, even though he's actually killing it right now. Then he goes on to say he's just producing because of agency's skill set, so could be very true. Then move up Morrow to the second line where he belongs, and then move Tkachuk to the third line wing. So he wants Christek, Hughes, and Agent C. Oh my god, what a line. He also wants Brodziak, Poehling, and Morrow, and then Tkachuk, Houston, and Yakola, and then Gadjevich, Messier, and Ty freaking Ronning. He breaks it down. The first line is going to be the point producing line. The second one is a two-way shutdown second line. That can still score. I think Brodziak and Ryan Poehling. Poehling's got like 42 goals. He says insane third line scoring. I think it should be the other way around. Insane second line scoring and a good two-way shutdown third line. But I see what you're saying. And then on the fourth line, he says grindy, dirty fourth line that can still score. Yeah, because Ty Ronning's on that line, of course. So that's a huge, huge blockbuster trade. That could be the biggest trade we've ever made in this franchise mode. But Talk Native to me, I think you're underestimating the trade value of Jack Hughes. So as of right now, Jack Hughes is the best second line center the NHL has ever seen. 94 overall, stuck behind Jack Eichel. All right, now you look at the Buffalo Sabres. They also have Corson, who is a first line center, and they also have Casey Middlestat, who, you guessed it, is a first line center, even though they're both listed as seconds. Look at their overalls. They're a first line center on any other team. So they have 4, 5, 6, basically 7, it looks like, another 80 overall. They have 7 NHL centers on one team. Last time I checked, you can only have 4. And having 3 90s, yeah, it's great, but is it really working out to have Casey Middlestat on the third line? I don't think so. So I see what you're saying when this trade makes sense for the Buffalo Sabres. And yes, it makes sense for us as well. Jack Hughes, 87 faceoffs, 91 defensive awareness, 95 offensive awareness. Oh yeah, he's also got 96 passing. Oh my God. Now the contract scares me. That's a ton of money. That's a lot of currency. He's having a really good year this year, 50 points in 63 games. He hasn't had that holy crap, this guy's a franchise center kind of year. But, you know, he's 27. He's just getting into his prime, really the best hockey he's ever going to play. Why not put him with the best player on planet Earth, Agent C? So I would love to make this trade happen, and I think it's a much better deal than getting Braden Point, obviously. But I think you underestimated his trade value. He has basically maxed out trade value. So if we take out Gadjevich, Graham, and Nugent Hopkins here, because I have a plan for our other trade that involves the goalie, so I'm not going to throw the goalie in here. This is going to be a very difficult trade to make. Now, let's talk about Forsberg really quickly. I mean, you guys can see it here. The writing's on the wall. I really don't have to explain anything. He's not happy here. He's not super stoked to be a member of this team anymore. And just to make things worse, this morning he went on Sportsnet Storm Bear Radio and he had this to say. So the official Storm Bears Twitter tweeted it out. Reports coming out that Marcus Forsberg is not happy in Seattle. His overall has dropped to 87. It's worse than that. It's actually dropped to 86. He went on Sportsnet Storm Bear Radio this morning and he says, "I'm a first liner on any other team. Being stuck on the second line sucks. I'm being paid like a first liner. I want first line minutes." So that is a huge statement. That is huge. He wants out of here, and I understand why. You know what? It was fun. It was a fun experiment. I didn't mind having him here, but I think it didn't really feel right. It was never really, yeah, he's our perfect winger. It just didn't really feel right. We've kind of been cycling through a few different wingers here, but I think if we bring up Morrow, put him where Forsberg is, I think we're going to be just fine. So with that being said, we can kiss Forsberg goodbye. Now, I have an idea with another trade. Now, this episode is going to be trades, all right? So stop, get a snack right now, get ready for some trades. We're going to have to add something in here because I'm not trading the goalie in this trade, and the goalie being Cowan. We are sitting on a gold mine right now with Eugene Cowan. We're going to trade him away. I'm not going to tell you who quite yet, but we are going to trade him away to a team that will need him. And obviously we have Simon Dumas, the Frenchest goalie of all time. He's our backup. He's doing great. I'm not even going to worry about that. So if we do trade Cowan, which we are going to this year, we are definitely going to have to draft a goalie. But that's for the draft to worry about. We need to worry about right now. So what do we got to add in exchange to make this trade go through? First things first, I think we have to send our first round pick their way. It could be a decent pick, like maybe 18, 19, early 20s. That's okay. All right, that's fine. I have Dallas's first. I also have a second from the Anaheim Ducks. So I have a few picks, all right? Now, I'm going to try to keep as many as I can because I would still like to have a first-round pick this year. But this pick looks like it's worth a little bit. But I have a feeling we're really going to turn it on here at the end of the year, and we are going to really prove to everyone that we're going for that 5th Stanley Cup ring this year. So I'm going to throw the first in there. All right, we're just going to start things off. I'm going to throw the first, and I don't want to get rid of any huge prospects. I don't want to get rid of a guy like Kabanov or Ernest Wall or Stromberg, even though we can because we have the assets too. I just don't think I want to right now. So I feel more comfortable getting rid of a guy like Graham, who's 68 overall. He is a top 12 pick. We ended up getting this pick from, I forget who it was. It was a pick that we traded, and it turned out to be pretty good, and it was obviously the 12th overall pick. So I don't mind throwing him in there. He's another winger that we don't really have room for. We have a few other guys who are a little bit older. I mean, who would you rather have? Would you rather have Boyce or Graham? Boyce is 2 years older. He's, almost 10 overall better. I think I'm going to hold on to Boyce. Plus, he's a center, and he's more valued out there. So if we give a first and Graham just for Hughes, I don't know if that's going to go through. Another thing is I would want Yona Gadjevich in this trade as well. He's 30 years old. He's having a great year on the 4th line. This is exactly what we need. We need a grit guy exactly like this. So I want Yona Gadjevich. So will this trade go through? I'll try it. But one thing I want to mention, Jack Hughes. Yeah, we know all about Jack Hughes. He's sick. He has a younger brother who's pretty damn good as well. Oh, and would you look at that? He plays for Seattle, and he is a Vancouver Canuck in real life. Can't believe that actually happened. But Quentin Hughes, there you go. Quentin, whatever you want to call him, there he is. He's on our team. He's going to be stoked about acquiring his younger brother. I don't think we've had a brother tandem yet, so that's going to be fun. So will this trade go through? Forsberg, a first, and Graham for a player that is not being used to his full potential. Like, he really needs to get out of Buffalo. And Yona Gadjevich for Graham, a first, and Forsberg, trade rejected. So it's not sufficient at all. So you see what I mean? This could be a difficult trade to make. So we'll throw Hedman into the mix, and yes, I know that does have a hole on our defense. It's okay, I've thought about this. I'm making another move, don't you worry. We're going all in for that 5th ring. Like, we've went in on getting a few cups here and there. We made some big moves in order to win Stanley Cups, but this one, I'm going all in. Like I said, all my eggs are in one basket. We are going for it. We have the necessary players to trade. We've drafted well enough. We've signed people in free agency. We've made the right choices, and I think that allows us to make the moves that I want to make. So if we add Hedman and Albert, all right, so we add those guys in there, as well with Graham, a first, and Forsbergs. How's their winger situation looking like? I know they're stacked for centers. Maybe they're really weak on the wing. They have 2 90s right there, and so on the left wing, they could use some work. I mean, having 2 90s is great, but I think getting Forsberg's really going to help them out. So I don't even know if this will go through. Trading for a franchise player seems very difficult, but will this trade go through? Jack Hughes, are you going to be reunited with your older brother? Trade rejected. See what I mean? This is going to be very, very difficult. We got to add someone who has more trade value than this guy. Has to be someone like Beach or Osgood. Like, that's a guy we're going to have to give up. Like, this is a lot to trade for this guy. Like, you go back to that guy's comment, he was like, oh yeah, you can get a first and a prospect as well. No. This is going to be very difficult. So Osgood is now in the deal. They are getting an NHL defenseman. They are getting 2 very good prospects. They are getting an elite first-line winger as well as a first-round pick. Will this go through? Trade rejected. It's not sufficient at all. All right, so I threw in another low elite guy that we're never going to use, and his name is Ted Peros. Never going to use him. Go get a shot in Buffalo. So will this go through? We're taking on some cap. We're getting rid of Ryan Murray, but we're going to replace him with another defenseman. Will this go through? Trade reject. This trade just might be too difficult to make. What if I threw Graham in here, all right? This might go through. That's a lot. We're giving up 3 good prospects, a first and Forsberg, basically for Jack Hughes, and that's it. This is my last offer. I've been sitting here back and forth, trying to get this guy. I'll revisit it after I make my next trade, but will this go through? Trade rejected. It's too far off. You see what I'm offering here? I'd have to throw in the goalie at this point. So that was a little compilation of me going back and forth, trying to make that trade work. I'm at 26 minutes in my recording. I don't know how long the video is for you guys, but trying to make that trade go through is painful. I've never traded for a franchise guy before, so yeah, that could be very difficult. Now, another comment I want to bring up. I'm not going to read the whole thing. You can pause if you want. But Brandon, he says, I see the problem plain and clear. No offense, but your defense is absolute trash right now. All of your team's goals you're giving up come from the right side of the wing, the left side of the opponent views, because all your defensemen are left-handed. He goes on to say that getting rid of Keatley was a huge mistake because he was a right-handed defensive defenseman. You need to trade for one. Obviously, his comment makes sense. He is an assistant GM mode legend. So my trade here is to trade to Colorado. All right, trading to Colorado. Now we're gonna trade Forsberg. You know what? This could actually work because then I can use the goalie for something else. Okay, let me see here. This changes things because I really had Braden Point coming our way, but now, if that guy, who was it, talked native to me, if he didn't give me that crazy comment, we would have been far more along in this episode. But no, you gotta go get Jack Hughes. Now in that comment, Brandon said you desperately need a right-hand shot defenseman. Well, I looked around the NHL and this guy stuck out to me, Cale freaking Makar, okay? Now we'll look at his stats in a minute, but the most attractive thing about this guy, I'm not saying him, I'm sure he's a very handsome fella, but the most attractive thing about him is his contract. $7.8 million for 4 years. Comparing him to a guy like Aaron Ekblad, who is kind of in the same realm, Aaron Ekblad's making like $9 or $10 million. 7.8 is a lot of money, but 11 years into this franchise mode, that is a steal. 84 offensive awareness, that's great. Skating, shooting, puck skills, all fantastic. 94 passing. He can quarterback a power play. Him and the Germinator are going to play incredible together. And his defensive awareness is at 93. So that would just be beautiful if we can pull this off. We're going to give them Graham, a 4th and a 3rd, and obviously Forsberg in exchange for basically Cale Makar and a 3rd. And then I can go and revisit the Jack Hughes thing if I want to, because originally I had Cowan going here, but obviously everything got changed up because this Talk Native to me guy's like, oh, go get Jack Hughes, and now I gotta rethink everything. But I mean, Cale Makar is the piece we need. He's going, look at him, oh my god, he's sick. He's like UC Partanen on steroids. I think if we put this guy with the Germinator, who's a pretty sound defenseman, I think you put this guy with Cale Makar, that's going to be a matchup made in heaven. So we're basically swapping 3rds. We're getting a 3rd for this year and giving up our 3rd for next year. A really good prospect and a 4th for Cale Makar. Trade rejected. Okay, it's all good. No worries. No, it's all good. We can just relax. We're fine. We're going to go ahead and make that 3rd a 2nd, and we're still going to get their 3rd for this year. So we give up a pick from this year, but we're still going to get one. I have a feeling this trade's going to go through. Trade rejected. Still too far off. Damn. Okay. All right. No worries. Gonna give up one of these low elite guys that we're not using. He's 24 years old. We simply do not need him. That should push it over the edge. Really? Trade rejected. All right, here we go. I got rid of the other picks. I made it a 1st. Forsberg, Graham, and a 1st for Cale Makar. There we go. Cale Makar is a member of the Seattle Storm Bears. Okay, that's the first big trade we've done. That took way too long. Look at this defensive core. Oh my god. So I think Comrie is going to have to be dealt. I think he's going to have to go. Or we could, I don't know. I mean, he's got 1 year left on his deal. I really like Comrie, but Kabanov is pretty much ready to go in for top 4 minutes. He's going to play with Hughes, and then I can put Hedman here to play alongside Murray. Or I don't know yet. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do, but we have one more trade to make, and that's hopefully acquire Jack Hughes. This trade might be a little bit easier because we're going to be giving them such a big piece in Cowan. Look at that trade value. This is going to work. Jack Hughes is going to come to our team. Let me make sure I get all the logistics right. This trade's going to happen. Okay, so let's start slow here. Let's give up Cowan, a 2nd, and Hedman. Let's just start slow, all right? That franchise goalie, I feel like, is really going to have a lot of trade value for us. Essentially, it's free money. He was a 7th round pick. We are playing on house money right now. It's free. Everything's free. We got to start somewhere. Let's start small, all right? Jack Hughes, trade rejected. Okay, it's all good. You got to start somewhere. We're starting small. We're going to slowly add things up until we're broke. We're starting slow with Peros, okay? 22 years old. We're not going to use him. Good luck in Buffalo. Trade rejected. All right, no worries.
20 minutes later.
All right, let's try this. Let's try with Osgood. And I know you're thinking, it's so many prospects. You have no idea the prospect pool we have right now. We have so many players. I'm okay with giving up 1 or 2 here and there. Now that looks like it's in their favor with Osgood. Trade rejected.
3 hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time cards.
Now, I talked about getting rid of our 1st earlier. Now, if I throw our 1st in, I'm pretty sure this should go through. Then we don't have a pick for this year. I mean, when you're going for that 5th ring, it doesn't really matter. We're going to go from that 5th ring. If we have to rebuild next year, we have to rebuild next year. We ended up saving around $2.5 million when we traded Forsberg for Makar, and now we're going to be a little bit even, maybe take a little bit more cap on now that we have Jack Hughes at 11.8. Come on, a 1st to make this trade go through. A 1st, Cowan, Hedman, and Osgood. Trade rejected. Come on, Buffalo. You don't need Jack Hughes. Come on. It's not sufficient at all. They don't even want to give this guy up at all. What if I threw in Nugent Hopkins, who's a guy, again, we're not really going to use? Will this go through? It's too far off. I can't give these guys any more. All right, so we're giving up Comrie, who's I really don't want to do. I mean, we're going to have to get rid of him anyways. We're not going to be able to re-sign him at the end of this year. Having a good year, but let's just see. Will this go through? Trade reject. You know what, guys? It's too much. It's not going to work. I would absolutely love to get Jack Hughes, but at this point, I can't see it happening. Like, you're pretty much trading for Connor McDavid at this point. Like, the same trade value, same cap. It's a really difficult trade to make. Like, could I have went any more there? I feel like I was giving it my all, but I just could not make that trade go through. It would be the exact same thing with Henrik. It'd be the exact same thing with Henrik Borgstrom. I don't know, man. It just probably was not. It's just not going to work. Now, my reasoning for Braden Point is we could get a good first-round pick with this. Now, Braden Point is still a really good player, and we can throw Ryan Poehling on the second line, can really let Braden Point go loose. He's got 48 helpers, 91 passing. He's not a forever plan. He's only 32 years old, and he's got 2 years left on his deal. So that's the thing I like about Braden Point is that he's not super expensive. He can play on the first or the second line. He's got the assists. I mean, he's kind of perfect for Agent C. He's like a poor man's Jack Hughes. And we can get a really good first. That's the thing I like about Braden Point. Or we could go hang out with Scrivens. We talked about this guy before. He's not first line material right now. And he's going to want to get paid after this year. Look at DeBrincat. He's making stacks. And Scrivens is next in line behind DeBrincat. I'm not going to make that move. Like, this looks like it should go through. It looks like it should work. The trade value is very much in their favor. We give them a very good center prospect, which I don't really want to give up. Osgood, who's a pretty good prospect in his own right. A first, a second, and Cowan? That seems like it's crazy. All right, let me get rid of the second and just try this. Will that go through? Like, even with the second, it probably won't. Trading for franchise players is almost impossible. Now, I'm scared if I put this second, it's going to go through. Trade rejected. Yeah, see, it's not going to work. All right, so give me one of your worst defensemen. Will this trade go through? Now, talking more about Braden Point, he's awesome. I think he's exactly what we need. He's a little bit older, which is fine because I want Houston to grow. I want him to eventually be the second liner. If this trade doesn't go through, I'm going to stop right here and I'm going to hold on to Cowan and hopefully cash in a little bit later in free agency. But I do have to trade Hedman, so we'll think about that. But will this trade go through? Trade rejected. Okay, see what I mean? It's just not going to work. I have a gold mine in Cowan. I'm going to hold off. I'm going to wait. Now, the thing I like about Casey Middlestat is he is on a good contract as well, $6.1 million. That's great. That's all fine and dandy, but he's like a, I don't know. He hasn't, again, had the credentials to really be franchise goalie trade worthy, in my opinion. But that's not to say I'm not going to make a move. I'm going to trade Hedman, who I'm not a fan of whatsoever. Yeah, I'm just going to trade him. Not super stoked on him. For Gadjevich, a second and a third. Will that go through? Trade rejected. Sweeten it just a touch, they say. Okay, just a touch. How about a sixth? All right, I want Gadjevich for the fourth line. Trade rejection. Oh, come on. You just said sweeten it just a touch. How do you get around that? Do you have to take on another player? They said it's not going to work because I have to put someone on waivers. So do I have to take an NHL player? Like, do I have to take this Jones? Do I got to take Jones at 1.5 for the next 3 years? I don't really want to do that. I'll take McShane, all right? 2.1, or sorry, perfect. I'll take McShane. There you go. I'll take McShane. I'll take the cap of $2 million, and I guess I got to give you like a fourth now to make this go through. Come on, this has been just dumb trying to make trades with the Buffalo Sabres. Will that go through? No, okay, make it just a second. All right, make it just a second, and we should have a good trade. There you go. We believe this transaction will contribute to our success. They were like, yeah, we got to put this guy on waivers. I'm like, no, just trade the guy to me. I don't even want to worry about that. Okay, so we made 2 trades, and yeah. There you go. Judge them how you will. I think we're a better team right now. That really actually pissed me off that we couldn't get a first-line center. Not saying Ryan Poehling's not a first-line center, but you guys know how I feel about that. I have to change up the lines right here. So this guy is going to be gone in exchange for Yona Gadjevich. We get some big, tough blood there. He's a big boy, 6'2", 207, loves to throw the body around. There you go. We're going to dress you, and you are good to go. Welcome to the squad. We're going to substitute him on the fourth line. I got to scratch a guy. Let me do up the lines here. here, and then I'll see you guys in a second. So just for the record, that guy we put on waivers, I had to put him on waivers in order to send him down. He was claimed. He's going nowhere fast. That's fine. He was basically just a plug to make that trade go through. We got a second and a serviceable player for a player I didn't really want. That's a win for me. So here are the lines. We're looking pretty strong right now. Looking pretty strong indeed. We're going to go Ronning, Houston, Yakola, Gadjevich, Messier, and Albert. I'm just going to call him Albert. I don't like his last name. We're just going to call him Albert, like he's a proper guy, Sir Albert. We got Brodziak, Kachuk, Morrow, Agent C, Paling, and Christek. Now, I don't like the center depth. I really don't, but I tried. You guys saw me try. I don't want to just give away the franchise goalie for nothing. Like, I want to make sure it's going to work, you know? Like right now, I could go, I don't know, to Washington, for example. I could trade that franchise goalie for Jack Roslovic, all right? Just for example, just throwing it out there. I'm getting an 86 overall guy for 5.5. It's actually not even that bad. It's actually quite an upgrade from Kachuk. So this is a terrible example because now I look stupid because this is actually a really good example. But I mean, even then, like what else am I going to get? You know, I'm just going to get prospects and picks. I want to trade for someone big. I really want that strong second line center. Even though Jack Roslovic looks really good, and that was a terrible example to go on, I'm going to stay put, I think. I think I'm going to stay put, I'm going to stay calm, I'm going to trust the process, and I don't think I'm going to make a move. Like, Scrivens makes a stupid amount of sense, but I traded for Brodziak over Scrivens, and I'm going to honor what I said. I said I'm not going to go after Scrivens if I get Brodziak, so there's that. Now, I'm just looking around here. Is this a glitch? Ryan Paling wants $3.2 million if I extend him? Whoa. You're saying I can get Ryan Paling for $1.5 million for 8 years if I extend him? Is this a glitch? This guy's going to be a 50-goal guy. What? Okay, let's say I give you a 4-year contract at 2.75. Okay, let's just hypothetically say I extend you. Are you going to say yes to this? So now that we're going ahead and extending players, what does Agent C want? Okay, he wants realistic money. Now, he doesn't want an extension, so I'm going to have to beef it up a little bit. Let's go 13 mil for 4 years, see what you say. Let's just get this done right now. Brodziak, let's go ahead and give him a contract as well. He does want an extension. So why does Brodziak want 6.8? Ryan Paling basically wants nothing. I don't understand this. So you guys were saying if they do want an extension, I can give them a little bit less. So Cam Brodziak does want an extension, so I dropped it from 6.8 to 6.5. And then the rest we'll worry about in free agency. So I think the big thing everyone was talking about was defense. You got to work on the defense, and we addressed that with Cale Makar. Offensively, we seem to be doing fine. We seem to be putting up enough goals. We just need to allow a lot less. So let's go the first game here. We're not going to pull the trigger on a first line or a second line center. Some will say it's a mistake. Some will agree with me. I'm excited to hear what you have to say. I just didn't want to trade a franchise goalie for a player who's going to retire in 2 years. You know what I mean? Anyways, let's go period number 1 with Cale Makar and Albert. There you go. Fourth liner Albert. Period number 2. All right, 1-0 still. Going into the third, and we hold the lead. Trevor Kachuk, the better Kachuk. He's like, dude, I'm a second line center. Relax. And then Morrow, his first game as a second liner. He comes through there, and he scores a goal of his own. Gadjevich had a helper, and Cale Makar had 4 shots, and he played 28 minutes. The guy logs ice. Now, I'm really interested to see if Ryan Paling is going to sign for that. Okay, who are you? 76 overall, 25 years old, 6'3". Yeah, absolutely. You're going to hang out in the AHL. But, I mean, if Ryan Paling signs for, what was it, like 2.7 for 5 years, is that a thing? So Brodziak's good, but Ryan Paling, what? Okay, hold the phone. What, an agency? Okay, poof, done. Absolutely beautiful. So wait, hold on. You're telling me that we just signed Ryan Paling. I thought that was a joke. Okay, so you're telling me after this year he's getting paid $2.7 million and he's going to be a 50-goal guy? Are you kidding me? So I don't even know what to think right now. I'm going to stop the video right here. And you might be thinking, oh, it was a little bit boring. All you were doing was going after trades. Yeah, I know. And I'm sorry if it was a little bit boring for you, but there'll be an episode very soon where we're going to get the rest of the year done. We are going to go into the postseason, going to do a complete wrap up. And I kind of want to wrap my head around signing Ryan Poehling to a 2.7. Anyways, I don't even know. But I need to pre-record some videos, so this one is going to be a little bit weird, not like we usually do. The next one, I'm going to go and do a complete season wrap up, might be a little bit shorter, and then the next one you guys are going to want to get your popcorn ready because we are headed into the postseason, going after ring number 5. I need to pre-record a few videos. I'm taking an extra long weekend. I'm getting away for a little while. I'm going to hang out, just get off the grid for a little while, go hang out at my parents and do some swimming for the Canada Day long weekend. Gonna go hang out at the lake, so I'm not going to be here to prep any videos, so I got to make them in advance, so that's why they're going to be a little bit weird. But how do we just sign Ryan Poehling to that? We got Cale Makar. What's going on right now? Oh my god. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.